You're lying in bed, replaying a conversation from 3 years ago. The one where they didn't text back. The one where you stood in the hallway and realized, mid-sentence, that you weren't wanted there. Your chest tightens. Your stomach drops. You tell yourself it's just a feeling. It's not just a feeling. Somewhere in your skull, right now, the exact same circuitry that processes a broken bone is lighting up over a memory that's older than your last haircut. The line between heartbreak and a fracture is thinner than you've ever been told. And the person who proved it didn't study heartbreak at all. She studied a ball game. Her name is Naomi Eisenberger, and in the early 2000s she ran an experiment so simple it sounds like a joke. She put people in an MRI scanner and had them play a video game called Cyberball. 3 players toss a ball back and forth. Easy. Except 2 of the players are computer-controlled, and at some point, without warning, they stop throwing the ball to you. That's it. That's the whole experiment. No insults, no explanation, just exclusion, dressed up as a glitch in a children's game. Here's the part that should stop you mid-scroll. The brains of the excluded players didn't just feel bad. They activated the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex. Say that slowly because it matters. It's the same region that fires when your body registers physical pain. Stub your toe, and this area lights up. Watch a digital ball stop coming your way, and the exact same region lights up. Your brain did not file social rejection under disappointment. It filed it under injury. Think about what that means for a second. Pain exists for one reason. It's an alarm. It tells you something is damaging your body. Right now, fix it. So why would your brain wire rejection into the same alarm system as a broken rib? Why would missing a thrown ball in a stupid flash game register as bodily harm? The answer takes you back further than you'd expect. Not centuries, hundreds of thousands of years. For most of human history, you did not survive alone. A solitary human on the African savanna 200,000 years ago wasn't tough. He was dead. No claws sharp enough to fight a leopard alone. No fur thick enough for a cold night without a fire someone else helped you build. The group was the survival mechanism, not a nice-to-have, the actual machinery keeping you alive. So evolution did something ruthless and elegant. It took the alarm system already wired into your body for physical threats, and it rerouted social threats through the same wires. Matthew Lieberman, who worked alongside Eisenberger on much of this research, has a phrase for it that's stuck with researchers ever since. Social pain piggybacks on physical pain. Your brain didn't invent a new warning system for exclusion. It hijacked an old one because the old one already worked. And because in the world your ancestors lived in, being cut off from the group wasn't an emotional inconvenience. It was a death sentence on a delay. This is why being left out at work feels like it does. This is why a friend group slowly excluding you produces an ache you can point to, almost physically, somewhere behind your sternum. Your body is not being dramatic. It is running ancient code that once meant, the people who keep you alive are walking away. Move, fix this. Now. Naomi Eisenberger's experiments didn't stop at the brain scan. In follow-up studies, researchers gave participants Tylenol, plain acetaminophen, before having them go through the same kind of social exclusion tasks. People who took the pain reliever reported less hurt from being excluded than people who took a placebo. Read that again. A drug made for headaches and sore backs took the edge off social rejection. If social pain were only a metaphor wouldn't respond to medication. There's a researcher from an earlier era who saw a version of this coming long before fMRI machines existed. John Bowlby, working in the mid-20th century, studied children separated from their caregivers and noticed something that didn't fit the thinking of his time. Separation didn't just upset these children. It distressed them in ways that looked physiological, increased heart rate, disrupted sleep, a kind of agitation that resembled withdrawal more than sadness. Bowlby was looking at attachment, decades before anyone could point to a brain region and say, here, this is where it lives. He saw the behavior. Eisenberger and Lieberman, much later, found the wiring underneath it. Now here's where it gets stranger, because the brain doesn't just register the pain of rejection. It tries to recover from it the same way it recovers from physical injury, too. Naomi Eisenberger found that another brain region, the ventrolateral prefrontal cortex, activates alongside the pain response during social exclusion, and it appears to function like a regulator, dampening the distress signal, the same way your body manages pain after the initial shock of an injury. Your brain isn't only built to feel the wound of rejection. It's built with a built-in attempt to dress it. So what does this mean for the version of rejection you live with now? Not exclusion from a hunting party. Exclusion from a group chat. A like that never comes. A text that sits there, delivered, unread, for hours that feel longer than they are. Your nervous system cannot tell the difference between being cast out of a tribe that determined whether you'd eat that winter and being cast out of a Tuesday night dinner plan. The wiring is the same wiring. The alarm doesn't know it's 2026. It doesn't know you have a refrigerator and a phone and 100 other people you could call. It only knows what it has always known. The group moved without you, and that used to mean something was about to go very wrong. This is why heartbreak after a breakup can feel like withdrawal from a substance, because in a sense, it is. A 2010 study led by Ethan Cross built directly on Eisenberger's work, scanning the brains of people who'd recently gone through an unwanted breakup. When shown a photo of their ex while also experiencing physical pain, the same neural regions activated for both. Cross's conclusion was blunt. Rejection and physical pain share a neural alarm system so completely that your brain is, in a very real sense, telling you you've been hurt. Not metaphorically wounded. Hurt. Here's the part that should change how you treat your own bad days. If you broke your arm, you would not tell yourself to get over it by lunchtime. You would not feel embarrassed asking someone to help you carry your groceries. You'd ice it, rest it, give it time, because the injury is visible and the timeline for healing is something everyone agrees on without question. Social pain gets none of that mercy. Someone excludes you, ghosts you, leaves you out, and the unspoken rule is that you should be fine within a day or two, 3 if you're being dramatic about it. But you're not asking an emotional wound to heal on an arbitrary deadline. You're asking the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex to recover from an injury, the same brain tissue that needs time after a physical one. Eisenberger's research suggests your timeline for grieving a friendship, a relationship, or a rejection isn't weakness. It's the same biological clock your body uses for tissue. There's also a flip side researchers found almost by accident, and it might be the most useful thing in this entire story. If social connection can be wired into the pain system, it can also be wired into the relief from it. Studies on oxytocin, the hormone released during physical touch, hugging, even prolonged eye contact, show it can blunt activity in the same pain regions Eisenberger identified. A hand on your shoulder after bad news isn't just symbolic comfort. It is, neurologically, a partial painkiller. Which means the cure for social pain has always been more social contact, not less, even though every instinct after rejection tells you to isolate and protect yourself from feeling it again. That's the cruelest trick your ancient wiring plays on you. The system built to push you back toward the group when it hurts the most convinces you to do the opposite, to withdraw, to go quiet, to decide that connecting again is the risk when connecting again is actually the repair. So the next time you feel that drop in your chest because someone didn't text back, because you weren't included, because the room went quiet when you walked in, you don't have to wonder if you're being too sensitive. You're not imagining an injury. You're not exaggerating a feeling into something physical to justify how bad it feels. Naomi Eisenberger put people in an MRI machine and watched a children's ball game prove what your body has known the entire time. The wound is real. It just doesn't show up on an X-ray. You're lying in bed again, that old conversation still looping, except now you know what's actually happening underneath it. It isn't weakness keeping you up. It's an alarm system 200,000 years old, doing exactly what it was built to do, mistaking a closed group chat for a closed door on the savannah. The ball never came back to you, and somewhere in your skull, it still hasn't stopped hurting.